that moment when these pieces are on the board and you think that's the movie that should be made.
Sure.
Henry out of nowhere gets a tumor.
He gets brain cancer.
They do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in
They
the
have
most
a
annoying way.
montage where they play that song?
Yeah, they'd play that song.
And Scottie Pippen comes onto the court. Vladi Divac.
Come on and slam.
George
And welcome to
Mirzan.
the jam.
Yes, the Monstars.
He like
Barnyard Dog.
He collapses from headaches. He goes to the hospital.
Well, she wakes up to hear Jacob Tremblay screaming.
Oh, right. He's having
and he's convulsing
a
on the
seizure.
floor.
Right.
And they go to the hospital.
They take him to the hospital. I fucking hate this
They
scene.
immediately perform brain surgery on him.
Wait, well, they go to the hospital.
They're like, we got to perform right away.
Well, Lee Pace is like, have you been having headaches? And he's like, yeah, for a few months now. And Lee Pace is like, this kid has a major tumor. It's on his brain. We need to take it out.
And Henry like corrects him. He's like, well, I thought it was just this and that. So I thought the symptoms weren't.
That happens after the surgery. Lee Pace comes in. Henry's head's all bandaged up.
Yeah.
That's, you know, he had brain surgery because of the bandage on his head.
Okay.
And he's
A
like,
little tip. Filmmaking tip for you. To convey brain surgery, put a bandage on someone's head.
and he's like, hey, sport, slugger.
Yeah, how you doing?
Bad
See, the thing
news.
is, there's a nasty thing in your head. And he's
There's
like,
a bully in your body. And we tried to
and Henry's like, give it to me
send that
straight,
bully to
doctor.
timeout.
What are we
And he's like,
talking?
what are we
Like
talking?
melanoma? Yeah, blah,
Yeah,
boop, boop, boop.
Right.
And the doctor's like, oh, rather than going like, hey, what's the deal with you knowing about advanced brain doctoring?
Right.
He's like, oh, do you want to take a look at your MRI? And Henry's like, oh, yeah, there it is. You know, third frontal lobe. Like, it's fucking stupid. I don't care how smart you are. You don't know neurosurgery.
He knows everything. And he's
He went to school for 4 years to learn this shit.
And Henry essentially says, like, well, I assumed it was this kind of cancer, so I probably have 8 years to live. Oh, I misdiagnosed myself.
Oops.
I only have 2 days to live.
Then
And he's like, wait, how did you know you had this? Because in the movie, when he's convulsing, they all act like this has never happened before. Up until that point, he's just had a couple headaches, and he somehow self-diagnoses himself with some kind of brain
he's like,
tumor.
well, first I thought it was just stress.
Right.
And you're like, how smart are you supposed to be? Because you're smart enough that you know the particulars of brain tumors
Right.
and how to read an MRI, but you're also stupid enough that you have 3 months of blurred vision. You think it might just be stress? You're 11. How stressed out are you?
So Lee Pace is the handsome doctor.
God, I'm yelling so much.
Dr. Ronan the accuser.
Yeah, Dr. David Daniels. He's pretty good in the movie.
He's a good actor.
Yeah, good actor. Anyway, so
He
like
essentially tells him you got like less than a week to live.
middle
You're dying now.
The middle like 25 minutes of the movie is Henry dies. Yeah, I feel like there's a few scenes because there's this scene where
Leaves are
Sarah
turning
Silverman
brown.
comes in and they do their famous bit where she calls him Hank.
Okay.
Which is their famous bit
We-
where she's
we
like, hey,
forgot about
Hank.
this.
And he's like, it's Henry,
Yeah.
you dumb bitch.
Right,
Like,
and then,
you know,
and then he
essentially-
calls her like a whore and a slut and a bunch of big thesaurus words, like
It's
$10
fucking
words.
nuts, the hostility these two.
Right.
Almost like he's like jealous of her.
Okay, so he just keeps on making jokes about her being like a loose, promiscuous woman and a
Right.
drunk, and she calls him Hank and just is like sort of like, you know, backhanded diminutive to him.
Yeah.
And then she comes in to visit him by himself when no one
Scene
else is in the
so fucking
room.
bad.
And
he's
she's like,
oh, I see. Now it's the moment in the movie where we do this. Like, he
Right.
explains what's happening.
He's like, this is page 75 of the
Because
screenplay.
you
Right.
feel bad about me now, and you feel bad about how you know.
But he also says, like, look, I know we've always had a contentious relationship, to say the least, but I'll be honest, it was a coping mechanism for me to shield my libidinous interests. And, like, what he says in dumb Henry speak is, like, I always made fun of you because I thought you were pretty. And then he translates it. Like, he says that.
Yeah,
He goes,
and
like, what I'm
then-
trying to say is,
and then the movie cuts away from the scene, and nothing else happens.
nope, Sarah Silverman kisses him.
On the mouth. Dun, 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 dun. And then
played-
CNC Music Factory come back.
Oh, they bring him back in. That's fun.
Vladi Divac. And then the movie acts like the love that could have been if Henry had not died. Like, there's this
He could have
wistful
married
kind of.
this 42-year-old diner waitress.
that's-
It's like the
No,
ending of
okay,
Blank
okay.
Check, except 10 times worse.
It is, but she does kiss him on the mouth, and it is weird.
Right.
And then he dies in his mother's arms,
But-
saying, I want to see the sky.
But they find him on the floor of the room, and they're like, what are you doing on the floor out of your bed here? And he said, I want to see the sky. So the movie is about the sky.
Yeah, of course it is.
Oh.
It should be known the movie is about the sky. But they find him on the floor, and he dies in her arms.
And then the movie ends, and that's the end of the movie.
Are you serious?
No, absolutely
no.
not.
There's like a whole third act.
You have no idea what the fuck happens next.